you all know where this is going. A few months ago, I was walking down the Strip in Las Vegas when at least a dozen people recognized me and shouted my name. Steve! Steve Aoki! Woo! It turns out I was performing that night. My friend was taking a photo of me under the marquee with my name, Steve Aoki, projected in big lights, when a passerby stops in his tracks, looks at me, and goes, "You're gonna kill it tonight, Steve." And then goes to my friend, That's him, right? I'm not allowed to say, I'm just a bodyguard. For those of you who don't know, Steve Aoki is a Japanese-American DJ, famous for his electronic dance music and for throwing cakes at his audience at concerts. I don't throw cakes at concerts or anywhere else. I'm actually young Kim, and I work at CBS Sunday Morning, and I like to bake pies, but I don't throw them at anyone, not yet. No, what I do is I do all the behind-the-scenes work, putting together a story for our show, and that can involve a lot of travel. And when I move through a lot of major cities, I'm often mistaken for this celebrity DJ, Steve Aoki. I didn't really know who he was until I got asked enough times if I was him. So I finally did a little Google image search. I guess I see the resemblance, though my hair is obviously longer and superior. I guess most of us have been mistaken for another Asian, though, right? We do go, what the heck, after a while, right? Because racial battle fatigue does kick in when all those little stereotypes about us pile on. It gets mentally exhausting. People can't seem to comprehend that there can be more than one long-haired Asian man out there in the universe. I live in Manhattan, New York. I also have a couple of friends who are Asian American men with long hair. Again, not as long or as superior as mine. But still, to this day, we all get mistaken for each other. And that's the bigger what the heck moment, because no matter your own personal accomplishments, your own fashion sense, who you are as an individual, all get sideswept because you're just seen as another Asian, or how it really feels as an outsider. And that person you just got mistaken for also has their identity compromised, wouldn't you say? But I learned a long time ago, it helps to have a sense of humor about these things. I come from a small town in Colorado where I was one of those 5, 6 Asian kids in my high school class, and not a lot about Asia or Korea was taught. And I'll tell you something, it's easy to poke fun at someone's background when you don't know anyone from that particular background. So I had my fair share of comments or questions, let's just say, from both classmates and a few teachers. A friend goes, "Do you see life in a widescreen format?" Well, if I've never known what full screen looks like, how would I know? A history teacher was reading from her book, "The Korean War was just awful," and it looks directly at me. "Wasn't it, young?" I wasn't there. I actually didn't have a comeback at that time because I was too young, too inexperienced to recognize how absurd that was, how ignorant that was coming from an adult, a teacher no less, someone you're not supposed to talk back to. But most comments weren't malicious. Most are born out of plain ignorance or an attempt to be funny. I just learned to be funnier than them. I learned to take it by laughing with them and then poking fun at what they just said. "Are you North or South Korean?" "I'm North American." Sometimes they see me as just another human who happens to be Korean American. I make real friends who actually want to get to know me and my background. And so these lessons in using humor still carry on today with this whole all Asians look alike trope. So whenever someone asks me if I'm Steve Aoki these days, I just go, "What the heck, sure," and go along with identity theft. But the onus of recognizing whether or not that they have some bias that all Asians look alike is on them, not me. I can be Steve Aoki, sure, but I can also be young Kim if you really want to get to know me. Having said that, I confess, I would love it one day if one of you goes up to Steve Aoki and asks, "Has anyone ever told you you look a lot like young Kim?" The point is, there are moments when we can all share a laugh. Some have even apologized. We grow from our mistakes if we acknowledge them. Now, I'll tell you, I didn't get to meet Steve in Vegas, but I will tell you that I have met him before at a press event before one of his performances. Let's just say a lot of selfies were taken with me that night, followed by a lot of disappointed faces when they saw him walk out on stage and I'm standing right next to them. You can't catch your Steve Aoki cake and eat it too, folks. When Steve and I finally meet, I did mention, Steve, if I'm asked I'm you, I don't say no. And he laughs. I wouldn't either. Of course, we had to get a photo together, and as I suspected, my hair is longer and superior. Thank you so much.
Young Kim, thank you.